Hello, I am Archok Das and I am going to present our paper Exploring a Dynamic Ring Without Landmark. This is a joint work with Kaustav Bose and Buddhadev Shah. The problem we study in this paper is graph exploration. In graph exploration problem, a team of agents are required to visit each node of the graph. When graph exploration has to be done with explicit termination, then all the agents must terminate after the completion of exploration. In a dynamic ring, the edges of the ring may disappear, but we assume that the ring is connected. Hence, at most, one edge may disappear at a time. This is a necessary assumption because otherwise, the problem is clearly not solvable. Now, exploration of a dynamic ring is impossible with only one agent. This is because if the agent decides to go left, then the left side edge may vanish, and similarly, if the agent decides to move right, then the right side edge may vanish. As a result, the agent may not be able to move at all. DeLuna et al. Had proved that exploration with termination is impossible even if arbitrary number of anonymous agents are present. However, they also showed exploration can be solved with two anonymous agents only if a landmark node is present. By landmark node, we mean a special node that the agents can distinguish. A natural question that follows is exploration solvable if the assumption of the presence of landmark node is replaced with non-anonymous agents, that is, agents having unique identifiers? Mondal et al. Investigated this question and showed that it is unsolvable if two agents are present, but solvable with three agents provided that the agents have an extra capability called the edge crossing detection. By edge crossing detection capability, we mean that if two agents are moving in opposite directions via an edge, they can detect each other and also exchange information. Now the question is, can we remove the assumption of edge crossing detection capability? The main result of our paper is that this can be done. That is, the problem can be solved with three non-anonymous agents without landmark, without edge crossing detection capability. Furthermore, the algorithm works without chirality, that is, the agents do not have any agreement in orientation. Also, the algorithm runs in order of n rounds, where n is the size of the ring. Of course, this is the best that one can do because since there are three agents, they cannot explore more than three nodes in a round. Hence, one must need order of n rounds. We now describe our model. We consider a dynamic ring with n nodes. All nodes are identical. Time progresses in rounds. At most one edge may be missing in each round. Each node is connected to its two neighbors via distinctly labeled ports. Leveling of the ports may not be globally consistent. That is, there is no chirality. Each agent has memory and computation capabilities. An agent can move to a neighboring node if and only if the corresponding edge is present. An agent can detect an active agent present at the same node. Terminated agents are undetectable. An agent can communicate only with an agent that is present at the same node. Each agent has a unique identifier, which is a bit string of constant length k. Agents have no knowledge of the size of the ring. We consider a fully synchronous scheduler, that is, all three agents are active in each round and perform look, compute, move operations synchronously. We now describe the look, compute, move cycles. In look phase, an agent finds out if there are any other agents present at the same node or not. If there are any, it exchanges messages with it. In compute phase, an agent performs local computation based on local observation, memory, and received messages. Then it decides whether to move or not, and if to move, in which direction. In move phase, it decides. In move phase, if it has decided in compute phase to move, it performs the movement. If it fails to move in this phase, then in the next look phase, it can detect the failure. Our algorithm works in the following manner. First, we ensure two agents meet at a node. Among the two agents, one of the agents, that is the agent with smaller ID, becomes static and acts as landmark. Now the situation reduces to DeLuna et al. Setting where there are two agents and one landmark. But we have a subtle difficulty here. In DeLuna et al.'s case, the landmark was a node, while in our case, it is an agent. So if we try to simulate DeLuna et al.'s algorithm, how do we guarantee the termination of landmark agent? So we cannot directly use their algorithm. Some modifications are needed to implement their algorithm. Meeting is the first hurdle of our algorithm. It is difficult without chirality as the agents may swap, and this swap cannot be detected without edge crossing detection capability. Our plan is to solve meeting in a much easier setting with chirality. And then we transform this to an algorithm that works without chirality. We do it via a process which we call contiguous agreement. In contiguous agreement, all agents have to agree on some common direction for some number of consecutive rounds unknown to them. In each round, the agent chooses a direction according to the algorithm. The requirement is that there must exist a number of consecutive rounds where they must choose the same direction. Our plan is to execute the algorithm with chirality in these rounds. Now, let us describe our algorithm for meeting with chirality. The algorithm works in phases. The jth phase runs for 2 to the power j plus k rounds, where for the first id times 2 to the power j rounds, the agent moves clockwise, and for the rest rounds, it remains at rest. It can be shown that two of the agents are bound to meet within 2 to the power k plus ceiling log n plus 2 rounds from the start of the algorithm. The main idea of the algorithm is like this. In each phase, the agent with the smallest id stops first. The agent following it keeps trying to move long enough. If the agent following it keeps trying to move long enough, it will be able to meet it. If this agent is stuck, then the one behind it will catch it. This is because since at most one edge can vanish in each round, two of these agents cannot be stopped in the same round. Hence, eventually, two of the agents will meet. Now we discuss the contiguous agreement problem. Let us first formally define it. We have three agents at three different nodes of the ring. In each round, each agent chooses a direction according to a deterministic algorithm based only on its ID and current round. The requirement of the problem is that the agents have to choose the same direction for some n consecutive rounds where n is some constant unknown to agents. To describe the algorithm, we first need to define modified identifier. Recall that the ID of an agent is a binary string of length k. From the ID, the agent constructs a modified ID or MID, which is a binary string of length k into k minus 1 by 2 plus k plus 1. We now show with the help of an example how to construct a modified identifier. Given an ID, first of all we append a 0 at the beginning. Then we add each pair of bits of the input and append them in lexicographic order. Here, corresponding to 1, 2, we add bit number 1 and 2, which gives 0 plus 1 equal to 1. In this way, we append rest of the pair of the bits. We now describe the algorithm. In the ith round, the agent moves left if the ith bit of MID is 0. The opposite happens if ith bit is 1. Here, left and right are according to the agent's local orientation. Left of one agent can be different from the left of the other agent. For example, here first bit is 0, so the agent chooses left direction. The next bit is also 0, so the agent again chooses left direction. The next bit is 1, so now the agent chooses right direction. We now claim that there exists a round where all three agents choose the same direction. For example, if the agents have agreement in direction, then in the very first round they choose the same direction as the first bit of all the MIDs is 0. Now we consider the case where an uniform agreement in local orientation among the agents is absent. The case can be divided exhaustively in three subcases. Two of the agents have the same orientation and the third has different orientation. According to our construction of modified identifiers, it can be shown that in each of the cases, there exists an index where two agents having the same orientation have the same bit, but the other agent has a different bit. This ensures that all the agents choose the same direction corresponding to that index. So there exists a round where all the agents choose the same direction. But to completely solve the problem of contiguous agreement, the agents must agree on the same direction for n consecutive rounds for any given n. If we duplicate each bit n times, our problem will be solved. But as n is unknown, so we duplicate each bit of MID to the power j times and execute the algorithm for j equal to 1, 2 and so forth. We now explain how to combine the algorithm for meeting with chirality with contiguous agreement to solve meeting without chirality. The algorithm for meeting with chirality runs in phases of length to the power j plus k. To solve contiguous agreement, we repeat each bit of the MIDs of agents n times. So there exists k into k minus 1 by 2 plus k plus 1 blocks of length n. Our idea is to simulate meeting with chirality in each of the blocks. The algorithm for meeting without chirality also run in phases. Each phase runs for to the power j plus k into k minus 1 by 2 plus k plus 1 rounds. Each phase consists of k into k minus 1 by 2 plus k plus 1 blocks of length to the power j plus k, where in each block, each agent individually chooses the same direction consecutively. As per our previous arguments while discussing contiguous agreement, corresponding to at least one of the blocks, all the agents will have the same direction. Hence, by similar reasons as in meeting with chirality case, two agents are bound to meet. Now we describe the part of our algorithm after meeting between two agents take place. Consider here that the three agents in the network are R1, R2 and R3. Meeting between agents R1 and R2 has taken place and R1 has smaller ID. Then R1 and R2 comes to an agreemented direction. R1 settles and becomes static and R2 continues to move in the agreed direction. We can show that a second meeting among agents is guaranteed to take place within k square into 2 to the power k plus ceiling log n plus 4 rounds from the start of the algorithm. Now the second meeting may take place in more than one way. In the first case, the meeting takes place between agents R1 and R2. In this case, both of them find out n and then R2 continues to move in the agreed direction for until k square into 2 to the power k plus ceiling log n plus 4 rounds from the start of the algorithm. R1 also remains active till that time, and it can be proved that R3 will meet at least one of them within that time. In that case, R3 will also come to know about the completion of exploration and hence terminate. The other case happens if the second meeting takes place between R3 and either R1 or R2. In that case, R3 comes to know about the agreed direction and situation reduces to exploration with chirality. Now we describe the algorithm for exploration with chirality. This protocol will be used in the case 2 of the second meeting, and then our task will be complete. In case of exploration with chirality, all the three agents initially perform the algorithm for meeting with chirality, and after meeting between two agents take place for the first time, the agent with lower ID settles down and the other agent continues exploring in the clockwise direction. The third agent also moves in the clockwise direction when it is moving, as the agents perform the algorithm for meeting with chirality initially. Hence, the third agent will either catch the settle agent or will get caught by the other agent. Now, if the third agent meets the settle agent first, then it will abandon phase-wise movement first and try to move in a clockwise direction for every round. Now, after the first meeting takes place, two cases may happen. The second agent meets the settled robot 1 second without meeting the third agent. This implies exploration is complete and both the agents come to know about the value of small n, which is the size of the ring. The settled agent will be active for 2n more rounds and the second agent will keep rotating for 2n more rounds. Note that in this case, the third agent has already made the settled agent and is trying to move in every round. It can be shown that within 2n rounds, the third agent will either meet the settled agent or get caught by the second agent. In both the cases, the third agent will get to know about the completion of exploration. So within 2n rounds, after the second agent meets the settled agent again, all the agents can terminate. In the other case, the second agent meets the third agent first. In this case, the second agent and third agent change their states to forward and bounce respectively. The forward agent continues moving in the clockwise direction and the bounce agent continues movement in the counterclockwise direction. The forward agent counts the number of successful steps in F steps. The bounce agent counts the number of successful steps in variable B steps and the number of rounds it is blocked in variable B blocked. If the bounce agent is blocked for more rounds than the number of rounds it successfully completes a step, then it changes its state to return and starts moving clockwise. The return agent saves the number of successful steps in the variable R steps. Also, if the bounce agent meets the settle agent twice, it changes its state to return and start moving clockwise. The main idea is that two of the three agents should be able to detect the completion of exploration. Together they find out small n or an upper bound of small n, capital N, and then one of them meets the third agent and then inform about the completion of exploration. The other agent terminates within a fixed time based on the upper bound of small n. This may happen in 5 ways. In the first case, the forward agent meets the settle agent. Here note that the agent with state forward had previously met the settle agent, and hence when it meets the settled agent again, it comes to know about n by measuring its successful steps. So both of them comes to know about n. Here the settled agent continues to remain active and forward agent continues movement in the clockwise direction for 69 rounds, after which they terminate. It can be shown that within these 69 rounds, one of them will surely meet the third agent. In the second case, the bounce agent meets the settled agent twice. This case is similar to the first case. Both the bounce and settled agent comes to know about small n. In this case, the settled agent remains active and the bounce agent changes its state to return and continues movement in the clockwise direction for 69 rounds, after which they terminate. It can be shown that within these 69 rounds, one of them will surely meet the forward agent. In the third case, the bounce agent meets the forward agent. As they had previously met at a node and they meet each other by approaching from opposite directions, their meeting indicates the completion of exploration. They obtain an upper bound of small n, capital N, by adding f steps and b steps. It is an upper bound and not necessarily small n, as they previously might have swapped. Though it is an upper bound, it is not very loose, as n small n less than equal to capital N less than equal to 3n. The forward agent and the bounce agent then continues rotating in the clockwise direction and counterclockwise direction respectively for capital N rounds and then terminate. If any of them encounter the settle agent meanwhile, then both of them terminate immediately. In the fourth case, the forward agent catches the return agent. They obtain an upper bound of n, capital N, by adding f steps and b steps. And then, like in the previous case, the forward agent and return agent then continues rotating in the clockwise direction and counterclockwise direction respectively for capital N rounds and then terminate. If any of them encounter the settle agent meanwhile, then both of them terminate immediately. In the fifth and last case, the return agent catches the forward agent and r steps less than equal to 2 into b steps. It can be shown that this implies that the return agent, while its state was bounce, and the forward agent were blocked on opposite nodes of the same edge in a given round. In this case, they obtain an upper bound of n, capital N, by adding f steps and b steps and 1. And again, the forward agent and return agent then continues rotating in the clockwise direction and counterclockwise direction respectively for capital N rounds, which is the upper bound of small n, and then terminate. If any of them encounter the settle agent meanwhile, then both of them terminate immediately. It can be shown that one of these 5 events is bound to take place within 69 rounds from the formation of forward bound settle triple. If two agents find out exactly n, then they terminate exactly after 69 rounds, and if they find out an upper bound of small n, then they terminate after additional 3n rounds. In any case, exploration is complete and all the agents terminate within 99 rounds from the forward bound settle triple formation. So now we state our main result. Exploration with explicit termination can be solved by 3 agents without chirality, without excursion detection, and without landmark in k square into 2 to the power k plus ceiling log n plus 4 plus 23n equal to order of n rounds, as here k is constant. Thank you.